Welcome to the Starting Over Podcast. I am your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is the show where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. It's a bit warm outside. It's post 4th of July, so when I'm recording this, of course. Hope everybody had a good 4th. For those that are in America, for those who are not, hope you had a good last week. I hope you enjoyed the show with Megalotus Man. He's a good friend of mine, and we play a lot of games together. You can sort of see how you have a view of yourself, and then you have how other people view you in your team building. And I hope you can sort of see how people look at your team building and what they expect you to play, and how that actually fits into a lot of what I say about building for the meta and counter meta. All right, so you might be saying, Dark Logos, after last show's riveting conversation, what we're going to listen to now. What I'm going to tackle is I've talked about it in the past. I don't think I've really talked about it really in depth. Is gotta catch 'em all syndrome with heroclix and why it exists. I've always alluded to it, and I will say this: heroclix, of all the collectible games I've played, has made it the least expensive. Gotta catch 'em all syndrome, because you can spend maybe $200 on a set. If you're lucky, and get like maybe 95 to 96% of the set. In other games, not so much. Like $200 is like introductory. I remember when I was playing, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! With my friends' cards, and that was ridiculous. And when I was playing Ultimate Fighting System, dropping, $200 wasn't even guaranteed to get you most of the super rare equivalents that you need for your deck, let alone 4. So you might be asking yourself, okay, so Dark Logos, why has gotta catch them all syndrome a big issue in heroclix? Well, first off, we're going to look at it from the collector standpoint first, and then we're going to look at it from the player standpoint. Well, let me rephrase that, because both can be players. From the collector standpoint, and then the competitive play standpoint. That's a lot more fair. And so I'm going to try to elaborate on both, on why this is an issue and why some things are going the way they are, and even more so, why you might hear me be happy about the game, and then also detect some negative undertones as well that I've had with game design in the last few months. So, all right, when we look at it from a collector's point of view, I know most collectors were happy and sad under the how can I put it, the pre-chase era, and you're talking about pre-supernova, in which people would say, I bought my case, I know I'm going to get my complete set, and I'm happy with that. There were a few that wish that, like, I remember this was the dumbest debate. People said that Vet Icon Superman should have had a higher rarity due to his power level, so that fewer people had him. And then I was like, that's dumb. I mean, all it does is create this situation where the haves and have-nots is greatly separate. So pre-chases, people were sort of happy. The ones that were angry at their wallet, or really more along the lines, put more value in their ability to collect and their ability to play. And I'll say that. And without really looking at the general demographic of let me say the general economic demographic of everyone, we're sort of hampering for higher rarity on top of, at that time, the unique. Unique would be what we would be considered a super rare, except, they still abide by the unique mantra of you only can play one. So I found that reality to be quite interesting, and how that griping came about. So enter Tuttle, the cursed name of heroclix, and he introduces chases. And in our first round of chases, we got completely the crappiest chases. But they were a property that a lot of people liked. And no matter what you say about it, those Marvel zombie chases were horrible for playability. Completely horrible. Maybe the Hulk was the most competitive of the bunch. And people griped and whined, and it was like, yeah, I needed a zombie. I really like Marvel zombies and want more zombies. And then we start seeing some of this. I bought a case, and you didn't tell me that there was going to be super secret characters. But we complained about wanting super secret characters, and now we got them, and now we got what we wanted, and I'm mad because I didn't get one, but I wanted the scenario. It's really sort of childish when you think about it. People want something, and then when they don't get what they asked for, and that thing is done, and they don't get to benefit from it, then they're pissed off. It's like, well, yeah, reality says eventually the odds are not going to be in your favor, So anyway, collectors got what they asked for, and got high rarity schemes. And so what ended up happening is that those first chases went for like $150 to almost $200 a piece. Now you have to actually put all of this in context of you're talking about 3 sets a year. Somewhere like the first set is usually around Valentine's Day, sometime in February, because you would always hear my girlfriend got me a case of blah 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 for Valentine's Day and I love her. Then there is the set that would come out a little bit before Gen Con, and then the pretty much like the last quarter of the year set would come out. And you're talking about 1 year 2 Marvel, 1 DC, next year 1 Marvel, 2 DC. So the chase element in that arena, in that sort of economic landscape, made it so that people can get the whole set. People can, if they want to, invest in getting these chase characters. And they would technically be spending a little less than what we spend now in a year for product if you buy every set. Not trying to hunt down everything, just you're participating in every set and every little event and whatnot, okay? So people were complaining back in the day, WizKids, you don't put out enough product, man. I want to give y'all my money, but man, y'all don't put out enough product. And even then, I would say, could they have increased their product load and gotten a lot more profits? Yes, but I would also say we didn't have the number of quality assurance issues that we have now, and I would even more so say that we didn't have we had some broke pieces. Let's not play around like, oh yeah, back in the day it was all balanced. No, there was some broke stuff, but the volume of broke stuff was a lot less. Let's put it like that. Okay, or even the scale of broke stuff is a lot less. Okay, I think, and even then you're talking about the most broken stuff that you can get is usually feats. Okay, and there's the complaining about feats and special objects and colossals. It's really the majority of the conversation. So anyway, I digress. And when we move into the what I call the special age era, the special powers appearing, we had a brief disappearance of chases, and then they come back with a vengeance with the Earth 2 Superman and the Kingdom Come Superman. and those figures are still like over $100 each, and they're ridiculously strong. I own neither. What is hilarious was when I was picking my brick for that set, I was like, God, give me the figures that I really, really want. And I had a list of my figures. And I picked up that brick, and it had literally like over 80% of my list. And I think I got like all the super rares that I wanted. And then my two other friends pick up the other two bricks, and then the other two bricks are two Superman. And none of the super rares that I wanted. So, hey, prayers answered. On the other end, no Earth 2 Superman. And I can sort of live with it. I can live with it. I'm not that big into huge tent poles anyway, but it's a great fig. Both of them are great figures. So anyway, so you had the arrival of Earth 2 Superman, and really more so the drama was around Kingdom Come Superman, because he could pick up two objects and charge Flurry with the two objects, and people were complaining that was way too strong. I think he was the first character that get charge Flurry as an official power, and people wanted that on other characters. Thus enters Hercules and Acrillo later. I think Acrillo has charge Flurry, but that's why Hercules comes in at the price point he does, and why he has charge Flurry, because everyone complained about pretty much Earth 2 Superman having charge. I'm not Earth 2. Kingdom Come Superman having charge Flurry. So anyway, once that happened, we see this super influx of, oh my gosh, the value of these chases are huge, but not just that. Oh my gosh, look. The influence on the meta is huge. Now you could say that the Lois Lane chase with Superman TA, or even the Alfred chase. I think he had the Batman TA. I'm not quite sure. Or no, the issue I think it was is that he was the only legal Alfred in that modern age. Like actually, I think he was the first. No, he wasn't the first clicked Alfred. I think the first clicked Alfred was in Batman Alpha, but I could be wrong. Anyway, but he was one of the like awesome Alfreds that hardly anybody could get nowadays. I don't think anybody would even think twice about trying to get him. But those things ticked off players, but none of those chases until we got to Earth 2 and Kingdom Come Superman were like literally huge meta game changers. There were lots of games for the Infinite Crisis scenario, and you're talking about some like major feats as prizes offered at the time that were won either by playing Anti-Monitor or playing Earth 2 Superman. And oh gosh, I remember so many of those games hoping not to face one and then having to face one of the two. So you can plan for the Anti-Monitor and build a team, but trying to deal with Earth 2 Superman, that's horrible. Because he had like a 10 full move charge and a free hit every turn. And oh gosh, it was just ridiculous. So anyway, moving on, you can sort of see how these chases have influenced the modern market, and even now we could say the biggest influence in chases and gotta catch 'em all syndrome really happened with the White Lanterns and with the duos and GSX, where it's like, hey man, you want to chase? I know you do, buddy. We're trying to sell these packs. Now normally we have 4 chases, but we got 6 chases to 8 chases this time, and to make it so that you're not bitter and hating us, so they're not like 1 per 4 cases, we're going to put 1 per brick. Boom. There you go. Increase the value. Okay. Right? Or is it 1 per case? 1 per brick, 1 per case, something like that. Okay, so now you have, wow, these chases are awesome, but some of these chases are broken. But you know what? I'll pay $50 to get that chase. And that's a stark contrast from, hey, I'll pay $150 to $200 to get that chase. You're paying a third to a quarter less of what you were paying over classic chases. The big difference is those chases are broken, and that the new chases are broken, and they help you win games. Okay, until you get to Superman. Yeah, really until you get to Superman. Because once you get to Superman, the chases are like, hey, chases, buddy. Chases. Yeah, chase. Oh, you're not feeling the chase. Okay. And then when they see that people weren't feeling it, they went back and created Chase Thanos. Yeah. And Centurion Void. Oh, man. And I'm looking at mine right now, and it's like, he's still in his little case, and it's just like, not getting played anytime soon. I'll look at you, but I gotta fear itself this weekend. Anyway, so as you can see, the propensity of heroclix players of wanting something and then getting it, and then getting mad in the method in which they got it, has been a big issue, and it is affecting your wallet and my wallet today. And so the collectors said, hey man, we want more figures, and we want more sets, and eventually that came down, and we got the model that we have today. Okay, so how does Gotta Catch 'Em All syndrome affect meta play? Because that's the main reason why you listen. The first element of how it affects normal meta play is this. If there is a tactic that is only doable through a rare piece, it skews the meta extremely. For example, I know some people are going to hate me for saying this. Batmite. Of all of the convention chases offered this year, Batmite by far is the most powerful, the most game-changing, the most broken of all of the chases, of all the convention exclusives. And you're like, Dark Logos, you're on that stuff again, man. What is up? Batmite, really? This cheap little, fluffy character, chibi looking guy. Well, if we look at Batmite closely, we can see he offers a couple of mechanics that we don't have in really at all. Okay, first mechanic. Oh, I can pick a hero. Okay, we've had I pick blah 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 and he's my boss before. Okay, that's not bad. Once you pick your hero, you can say, hey hero, I can teleport to you. So that means that I can tie up a piece, and when I no longer want to tie up that piece and need to get Batmite back to the medic, I can get the hero to the medic, and boop, Batmite teleports to the hero. And I just happen to have Donald Blake there with a nice band-aid to patch up his boo-boos. Okay? Next, you have, hey man, I can bring the hero to me, which can be ridiculously strong because it's not a TK. It's not TK. It's a placement, and you have no restrictions on being able to do an action after being placed. So you can TK out Batmite, and he has like a 10 movement, so you can move Batmite out some more. And I'm not quite sure if it's a power action, so bear with me while I look that up as I talk out the side of my mouth. And just be able to say, hey, I TK Batmite up. I put him in a position where I normally would not put another figure, and my opponent thinks I'm crazy, and then I just drop whoever on top of him. So that in and of itself is a big deal, and I'm just bringing up Batmite now. Yeah, he starts off with a 10 move improv, Yeah, and then yeah, let me help. Here it is. Give Batmite a move action. After actions resolve, roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled. Place Batmite's idol in a square adjacent to Batmite. On a result of a 1, an opponent may choose the square and deal Batmite's idol 1 unavoidable damage. On a result of 2 through 6, you could choose a square, and Batmite's idol may make a close or range combat attack as a free action, but can't be given a non-free action until your next turn. So, okay, never mind. So, let me rephrase this. You have the chance of getting the idol up there and be like, "Yep, I teleported the Justice League. They're my idol," and bam. And yeah, you could say, well, there's that 1 in 6 chance that you roll a 1. Yeah, that 1 in 6 chance that you roll a 1. Real scared of that. The Am I Bothering You? Batmite can use Incapacitate. Characters that Batmite targeted with this power last turn can't target Batmite or Batmite's idol with an attack until your next turn. So for you just to be able to say, I have a 10 range prob, 10 range this effect, where I can try to incap you, don't have to hit you, and guess what? You can't hit my Justice League. You can't hit my Earth 2 Superman. You can't hit my ultra powered up person with the gauntlet. Thank you. Have a great day. Okay. And then get me out of here. Batmite can use super senses. When he uses super senses to evade an attack, you may place him adjacent to his idol or any square within 6 squares in line of fire. So he has an escape. Now you're going to say, well, Dark Logo's precision strike just gets over that. Like, forget all that. Let's put that out of your head for a moment. Ask yourself, how many characters have any of these elements, let alone for 65 points in Batman TA? Okay, just pause and we'll have a Selah moment and think about that. Okay, now here's the other thing. You're my hero. Once per game, give Batmite a free action. Choose another friendly character. That character is Batmite's idol. Never mind. I thought it was saying something else. I could change my idol. So overall, you could say, like, all right, how does Gotta Catch 'Em All become a problem? You can't imitate any of this. As it stands of when I'm recording this. I don't know what Wolverine the X-Men has, but as I'm recording this, you can't imitate any of this. Okay? I could try to imitate some of it with summoning the white or, or Bat Signal. But I really can't be like, anywhere I'm at, let me just bring somebody here. Oh yeah, let me go and move over here and do this. And then bring somebody over here. Oh yeah, you can't target this one other character because I say so. And it doesn't matter on the point value. Now you can say like, oh well, excuse me, what is it? Star Sapphire is pretty much able to do this same effect as Batmite, and it's like no. Star Sapphire has a limit onto a 150 point character. This has no limit, okay? Because I can say, hey, check this out. Galactus is my bestest best friend, and your big gun cannot target Galactus. Your major character can't target Galactus. I can summon Galactus to me. I can go to Galactus. Like, really, let's really think about that. What are the implications? And they're major. They're huge. And then just for you, I'm going to read Summon the White to you. Summon the White, give Deadman a power action. Okay, it's a power action, not a move action. Any number of friendly characters with the Brightest Day keyword, Brightest Day or White Lantern Corps keyword, note keyword limitation, can be placed adjacent to him up to the number of adjacent unoccupied squares. So he can summon multiples. So that's an advantage. Those characters can't be given actions until your next turn. Well, guess what? We can do that with Batmite. Okay, that's That's a big deal. So even more so, let's go to War of Light and look at Indigo 1. And Indigo 1, most important fight. Give Indigo 1 a power action and choose a friendly character possessing a keyword limitation with Lantern in the name, or Indigo Tribe, or Sinestro Corps. Again, keyword limitation. Place the chosen character in the unoccupied square adjacent to Indigo 1. The chosen character can't be given an action this turn after being placed. So we have something even worse than summoning white, because you only can get one. Okay, so how are we imitating this? We're not. So what's going to happen is that if we have a situation where something that's extremely rare does something that nothing else in the meta does, and it does that thing extremely well, and it does a big skew to the meta, then we have a problem. Now you might say, well, Dark Logos, I mean, they're convention exclusives, and the whole point is to get people to convention. Yes, I agree. Give somebody a cool figure for coming to the convention. But at the same time, don't give somebody a figure for coming to the convention that's so strong that it's pretty much hard to ignore it. Really, let me rephrase that, almost impossible to ignore it. Okay? And then go like, well, they can offer it on the WizKids store. You and the lucky 50 people who are able to get it. And they're up at 3 in the morning when WizKids puts them out. Just saying. Anyway, I digress. So that's the first part of how I gotta catch them all becomes a problem. The next part of how gotta catch them all becomes a problem is this. And I've caught myself saying this and doing this. Man, I wish I had X figure from X set that was X years ago so I can play this X team. So that I can do this one thing that X figure can do. I use too much X's. It replaced year with Y. So the equation comes out right. Okay. So, how often would I have used that figure from the point of its conception to the point of me like, man, if I had this, I could play this broke wonderful team. If I'm thinking that 2, 3, heck, 4 years after it came out, guess what? I really didn't need that figure in the first place. If the only reason I'm looking at this figure is something obscure and rare happened, or there's this combo that like no one in their right mind ever thought about, then yeah, I can get blinded by the mindset. I need to have everything because who knows, in 5 years, the tournament to determine the fate of the universe of heroclix could be resting on my shoulders, and I am going to need Forbish Man. Yeah. I kid you not. Stuff like that happens. I am not the only person who's had that sort of delusion of grandeur in their head to make one figure extremely important. Let alone saying, hey, you know what? I can just make another team. I can make another team. And it can be just as effective or even more effective than what that one obscure figure that I'm missing. Now, it's one thing to say, hey man, I like Hydra, and I really need this Hydra guy. Or, I really like X-Men, I need that X-Men. And for you DC fans, I really, really, really like JSA. I need that figure, so that I can do this thing with JSA. That's one thing, but you're focusing on JSA as a player, or you're focusing on X-Men, or you're focusing like I do, like African American heroclix. You know, I pretty much want them all except Calypso. You know, so when we look at it like that, it's like, all right, what point does this character have? What job does this character do? And if I'm not using it often, guess what? I really didn't need it. And that's what drives a lot of, I gotta have the whole set because I don't know when I might actually want to make a fearsome 5 team. And then for those of you who like fearsome 5, good for you, man. Good for you. I'll leave it at that. So anyway, we can see like those are like the major delusions that happen. The more subtle delusions that come in with Gotta Catch Them All, with heroclix, and I think this is something that's emerged recently, and that is, hey, there's a broke element. I need to collect all these other broke elements on top of this element so that I can win, a la team bases. I mean, they're just meant to drive sales of individual boosters, while at the same time driving sales of the super boosters. That's pretty much what they're there for. Oh, look, I have something in a super booster. I can play it, but if I really want to get the most out of it, I need to go and buy normal boosters. Oh, I bought this thing in a normal booster. Oh, it has an effect, but it only applies when it's on the team base. There you go. So that's how WizKids profits off of Gotta Catch 'Em All for meta play. Because really, in all honesty, could have WizKids, for the price, made team dials and put like 6 figures of the team, or heck, even 7 figures of the team, and said, hey, this booster costs $45, or heck, you could even say, the super booster costs $40, and you have the whole team ready to play, good to go. They're not, these characters are not in the standard set, so there's a whole extra, X amount of characters, and then make the rest of those sets little micro boosters. Yeah, they could, but they won't. Okay, because they can't get your money like that. And it's driven meta-wise for you to constantly think, oh, man, maybe I need to buy an extra booster. Maybe it'll have that Green Lantern. Maybe it'll have that Flash. Maybe it'll have that Cyborg that I need to put on this team base that I will play maybe 3 times a year at best. Okay? Alright, so hopefully I've given a good general rundown of how this Gotta Catch 'Em All syndrome affects the game, and I know a lot of people might think like, I really don't see the problem in WizKids has to make profits, and we need to have something to go out there and collect and have fun, and you don't have to buy everything, and on all those points I agree. But at some point, you have to say, yeah, we're abusing the Pavlovian syndromes here. We're taking too much advantage of that. The idea of the gambler coming up and Kenny Rogers singing in the back of our head of, you got to know when to hold 'em, and even the biggest part of the gambler song is like, know when to walk away and know when to run. And a lot of the WizKids product, I gotta say, right now is giving me like, know when to walk away and know when to run. And for those of you who are not old enough to know The Gambler, the best TV series ever, miniseries ever, on I don't even know what network it was on. You could probably like YouTube it somewhere, or better yet, just YouTube The Gambler song. That is like this is the best song. Oh, Kenny Rogers, man. You made me love country music as a kid. You and Dolly Parton and all those other little TV shows y'all did. Anyway. Oh man. All right, so I'll try to wrap this up, and I'll show you how Gotta Catch Them All has negatively influenced my life, and give you some of the ups and downs. I'm not gonna lie like, oh, it's all bad. It's not all bad because you have a ton of stuff, but at the same time, stuff, just because you have stuff doesn't mean you're going to use stuff. Okay, first a recent example of gotta catch 'em all. For me, Socialist Reds Guardsman. I've been trying to put him on so many teams. I bought 2 of them. I took my own stock advice. And you know what? I haven't played them. And both of them are sitting there looking at me in their power armor and say, "Come on, comrade, put us into battle." And I haven't. Another example of for me is I bought 2 Smallville fast forces so that I could have 2 Supergirls, and I have not played 2 Supergirls at all. I always sort of stop and I'm like, but what if they have something to stop my hypersonic speed? Running shot, Supergirl, come with me. And so that's affected me. I'm looking at mostly my heroclix are like laid out in my little workstation in a very unorganized manner. Another example is I had bought what was this cat? Captain America, Red Guardian. I bought 3 Red Guardians, and the idea was to combine them with Sergeant Rock, and use Sergeant Rock's ability to give them all willpower, and so that they could just run over people. But I never played the team, and I kept saying oh, I need this and I need this, and I purposely went out there to get a bunch of them, and I didn't play them. Let's see what else. Crap. I have. Oh, this is pre. Actually, no. This is pre me losing my job at ADT. Before I quit working at ADT, pretty much what ended up happening was I would buy a brick of every set. And it was my way of saying to the owner, I support your business. But the side effect of me buying a brick of every set was once I opened all my boosters, I was left with what I call the chaff bag. And it's figures that, A, I know I'm never going to play. And then once every year there's a figure in the chaff bag, I'm like, oh my gosh! Please, Lord, let it be in the chaff bag so that I might find it and play it once and then put it back in the chaff bag. Because of some obscure keyword that I'm trying to do, either on a bet, a dare, or just a personal challenge. So I used to give figures away to new players, and then I started to realize that most of the figures that I was giving away were not really purely on altruistic, means. I really wasn't doing it to be charitable. It was just to unload the chaff bag. And it's like, hey man, you want this crap that I don't play, and that if you played against me, I would laugh and crush you? And so the more and more I thought about it, the more I realized, yeah, it's just a big bag of wasted plastic. And then the more I thought about it, I said, okay, for my initial investment of whatever I paid, I still had to go to the secondary market to get the rest of what I wanted, minus trades and whatnot. And when all was said and done, for how much plastic I have left over, I bought probably about half as much plastic to finish out what I want. And the whole random nature meant that I had this list, and every set since Icons that I've played, I write a list, and on my list is every figure that I want from that set, and that I will play because of that mechanic. And every other every other figure in that set is not worth my time. Just period. And having that habit over the years has cost me a lot of money. I would functionally say that I probably in my room in the chaff bag probably have if I was to count their value from when they came out, not their current value, but when they came out, I probably got about $800 to maybe $900 worth of crap heroclix, whereas I could have just bought what I was going to play. And I wouldn't have duplicates of Trickster. And actually, like 5 duplicates of Trickster. That was one. Oh gosh, collateral damage. That was horrible. But so yeah, I want you to hear my tales of warning and woe, and sort of realize, like, yeah, this, watch what you buy, and that's why I'm sort of adamant about it. And I'm not gonna lie, once in a while there'll be this one rare figure that I pull out from the chaff bag that's like, yes, you saved my day. The last example I could think of that was She-Thing from Secret Invasion, and I needed a mastermind figure, a mastermind fodder that had damage reduction, and I forgot if it was like 6 or 7 clicks, but was really cheap. And so she fit the bill, and the main goal was to give me time for my Bruce Banner to power up into Aussie Hulk, and then I didn't care if she lived or died, and I know, no, it's not She-Hulk, She-Thing, She-Thing. She-Thing, 7 clicks, 3 clicks of toughness, 4 clicks of combat reflexes, and 50 points. And fantastic for a team ability. So, it's like you might think about that now. Like, if you look at her stats, you're like, oh man, the only thing she needs is like a hammer, and she'll be awesome. But you also got to think about it as well. Like, what good does she do with no charge? And you're not going to put a resource on her. So she's just good for mastermind fodder, like really cheap mastermind fodder. And I didn't have to clog up my area with like 15 bazillion dudes. And then also, she was real easy to heal. So you're like, Dark Logos, you make some of the evilest teams. And it's like, yeah. But that character was one of the reasons why I won the tournament. Because she gave me time to stall for my Bruce Banner turn to Aussie Hulk, and Darkseid was just killing everybody. Now, was she a crucial linchpin? No. Oh gosh, no. But she did function in a very powerful way. That allowed me to win. So again, got them, catch them all. Pros, cons, but mainly more cons than pros. And this is why I, Edward Shelton, buy CURs, either from online or from friends, trade, and just play a handful of seals, and then trade off everything else I have. Just mainly because in doing so, it's a lot cheaper on your wallet. Fear itself, in all honesty, I'm thinking after this next one, I know I was saying initially I was going to do it, but then the store owner asked me if I was going to come this weekend. I was like, okay. But really, unless the prize is really good, don't show up for Fear itself, just because of how much the boosters cost. And if you're already sort of got most of what you want, or sort of looking on eBay, it's like, well, the prices have gone down. I could spend X amount of money, minus what I would spend in gas, and this is cheaper. Because I do know some of you drive 30, 45 minutes to, over an hour to get to your venue. So, gas ain't cheap. So, we got to factor those things in as well. All right. Thank you for listening. Again, I hope your 4th of July or your weekend or whatever it is was fun. I did try to purposely get the show up on 4th of July so that you all would have something to listen to while you're watching explosions over the air, in the air. You can hit me up at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com, at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com if you wish to opine. Thanks for everybody who sent me good well wishes on YouTube and on email. Really appreciate it. Stomach is feeling a bit better. I learned something. What makes me sick is raw almonds. I have had roasted almonds and toasted almonds and almonds that have been processed into milk and everything else, and when that's done, I'm completely fine. But raw almonds make me violently sick. So something that I will be very cautious of in the future. You can subscribe, or better yet, follow me on Twitter at startingoverpod. That's at startoverpod. It came from outer space. Anyway, sometimes I put cool stuff up there. Sometimes I don't, but you will always know when the show is up because YouTube automatically sends a link to my Twitter feed. Also, bug the fire out of Push to Regen and tell them that I sent you on Twitter. Just bug them on Twitter. I love doing that every show. I'm waiting for an email from the Push to Regen guys just telling me like, yo, just stop. Your fans are annoying. Alright, and last but not least, check out the blog, startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. That's startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. You will hear more of my raw thinking, and you will also get a bit more insight into some things as they unfold. Like I stopped talking about previews on the show, but mainly it's just because I have the blog. So it's like, oh, this came up, blah blah blah. Hey, that's cool, blah blah blah. Some more, please read. Thank you. So definitely check out the blog. It's usually updated every Monday, Wednesday, and weekend. Weekend usually is more of I did this and this worked. I did this and this sucked. Oh gosh, I'm tired. So that's it. Also, if I need to get on the live stream, I've been promising that for like over a year. I know some people said like, yeah, that would be awesome. Give me an idea for those people that are interested. Give me an idea of a time frame, a day and a time frame. And make it Central Standard Time so I don't have to convert it to whatever time zone you're in. Like 10 p.m. Central Standard Time on a Wednesday. Would that be cool? Or like 2 p.m. on a Saturday, or 8 o'clock on a Sunday. And then also, if anybody is good with live streaming stuff, let me know what I need, because I know I need some program crap for Twitch and all the other good jazz. I need an encoder and lamb's blood and probably a sacrifice. So if somebody knows all that, let me know. I am a techie. I fix computers. I am not, and I fix some software stuff, but I am definitely not super news media person, a new media person. So yeah. All right, that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to me ramble. And one day I got to show you like the chaff bag. Oh gosh, I'm so glad I don't have the chaff bag for like the last 7 sets, because I just don't have. I just buy what I play. All right, thank you for listening, and remember, we all have to start over sometime.
I'm into comic books, figures on the wall. She's into looking good, Vicky C's catalog. And she loves my flaws, yeah, she's not ashamed. I'm a Peter Parker, she's my Mary Jane. She's my Mary Jane, she's my Mary Jane. She's my Mary Jane, she's my Mary Jane. She's my Mary Jane, she's my Mary Jane. I'm a Peter Parker, she's my Mary Jane. I'm a big nerd around her.
but she's cool around me. Never knew how she found me. Electric, but she grounds me. And she loves my flaws, she accepts them all. When the darkness comes, I will get the call.
I will swing down to save her.